Hello, can you hear me? Okay, good morning,
Yes,
everyone.
morning.
Well, today is our first class to go through the first chapter. Are you guys ready to make accounting great again? Okay, so let's start chapter 1. In chapter 1, we're going to introduce the basic information, the background knowledge you need to know about financial accounting. It's a very easy chapter. Most of the things I'm gonna test you in your first midterm regarding this chapter will be the definition questions. We're gonna spend some time to go through what's the difference between financial accounting and managerial accounting. And we also gonna spend some time to talk about how the accountants using the accounting information and what type of user to use this kind of information. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the accounting career path because most of you guys, I think, are in a business major. Accounting is actually a very, very good career path in the future. No matter what the economy are right now, for example, the COVID-19 right now, the economy hit very bad. Lots of people losing their job. But a company, once the company still exists, they are not going bankrupt. Even though they are going through bankruptcy, you need an accountant to do all the financial things. So the accounting, to be honest, in my opinion, it should be the last type of people who lost their jobs because it's a very, very good job. Okay. So let's talk about at the very, very beginning. Let's talk about what is accounting. 1 second, okay. Whenever you see the highlight part in red part, for example, the highlight part in the PowerPoint, that means it's very important. That means you're probably gonna see some question regarding this part on your exams, okay? So the first one you need to know is what is accounting. Accounting is the process of organizing, analyzing, and communicating the financial information that is used for decision making. Okay, so accounting is actually a process. For accounting people, once you learn accounting, you know how to gather the financial information. Once you gather the financial information, you know which financial information is valuable or is useful for you or for the other stakeholder to use in order to make decisions. So accounting is a very, very long process. First, you need to get all the financial data, and then you need to put all the data into a financial statement. Once you put all the financial data into a financial statement, you need to present this financial statement to your stakeholders to tell them what does this number telling you. Okay, so for example, if I directly give you a bunch of number, you have no idea what I'm talking about. You don't know what's the point. I give you a lot of number, right? So accounting, as Warren Buffett says so many times, accounting is the language of the business. Accounting is the very, very basic line of business. As a business major, or if in the future you want to do something with business, I think accounting is a language of life. Even though if you're not in a business major, in the future, you find a job, you need to find out what's your payroll, you want to buy a house, you want to find out what will be your mortgage, what will be the best way you pay less to buy a house. Those things all require some accounting background. So understand accounting is very, very important. So that's why accounting is the language of business. So before you learn anything about accounting, if you take a finance class or marketing class or management class, you may probably don't understand what does all those numbers telling you. Accounting is very, very important. So for example, if I say good morning, you may know that means good morning. But if I say Ohayo gozaimasu, you don't know what does that mean, okay? Because that's good morning in Japan. And then I would say 早上好, that's in good morning in Chinese. So in order to communicate with people, especially in the business world, the accounting is very, very useful and it's very essential for you to learn accounting. You can talk about profit margin, talk about what will be the budgeting of the financial statement, what's the balance sheet look like. So that's why you can talk to your clients in the future, and you know once you want to do a invest for the company, you can go to read their financial statement. Once you know accounting, it will help you very much. Okay, so for these slides, the major thing I would like you to remember is what is accounting. Okay, we have three processes: it's organizing, analyzing, and communicating. In some time, okay, these three key words right here, like organizing, sometimes is like gathering. So you're gathering the data. Analyzing is you put all the data together, okay, and then communicating. Sometimes you mention like presenting. So it's three steps. So first you gather, you organize all the financial data, and then you're analyzing. You put that into a financial statement, and then last, communicate. You present the data, the result. Okay. So next, here is the major part you're gonna see, and I'm gonna test you. The major part that you will find on your first midterm is what will be the difference between the financial accounting and managerial accounting. You're probably gonna take this business 226 class maybe next semester because this is your first year here. I do teach that class, so I look forward to see you next semester. Financial accounting and managerial accounting, even though they are all accounting, but they are actually different. I say these things before. I say accounting is a skill. Okay, you need, once you know this skill, it will be you all the time. But different type of accounting need different type of skill. For example, again, driving is also a skill. But however, if you're driving a SUV compared to driving a full-size truck, it requires different kind of skill, right? So in here, financial accounting and managerial accounting, they are both accounting, but however, they are different. You need to know what's their key difference. There are several key difference. Okay, so what is financial accounting? Financial accounting, first you need to know financial accounting is all about financial data, all about financial report. So the first thing about financial accounting is whenever we talk about financial accounting, we are using the financial information. What is financial information? To be very easy to understand, financial information is numbers. Okay, whenever we talk about financial accounting, we are talking about numbers. Okay, I know some people hate numbers, but you know, this is the case. We need to find out what does the number telling us. And so that's why we're using the numbers, the financial information to measure the financial performance of the company and use this information to tell other people to prepare and distribute a report. The key thing about financial accounting is the financial accounting is normally for external users. So the majority part of the people who use financial accounting is the external users. What is the external users? The external user means, okay, if you're getting a financial information from Hollands, then all the external users of Hollands University will not including the internal users. What is internal user? Internal users like the faculty, the students, whoever involved actually work for the company. So the external user right here is like the owner, the stockholders for the public company, the lenders. Lenders is the people or the institution that lend money. Or the government, of course. The government is maybe the most part, the one of the party that will care about your financial information a lot because government need to tax you. Okay, so you cannot do the wrong number on your financial statement. Okay, some company they want to manipulate their financial statement in order to lower tax. The government they spend a lot of time. They have a special policy and rule to dodge you to do that. Okay. So the first thing you need to know, okay, about financial accounting is always talk about numbers, about financial information, and it's majority used for external users. Okay. And managerial accounting on the other side normally is used within the company. So now we are talking about internal users. So financial accounting is using for the outside people. Managerial accounting is used for the inside person, inside people, like the CEOs, the employees, okay, like the different type of manager. The managerial accounting, they use both numbers, the financial information, and also non-financial information. What is non-financial information? Non-financial information, that it covers many parts. Okay, so for example, during this time, during this hard time, okay, a very good example about the non-financial information during the pandemic is like what happened to, okay, what's the COVID-19 situation right now? Some company, especially the service type company, they need to think about how bad this pandemic will continue to go. So like the restaurant, especially the restaurant, the retailer, they need to use this type of information to make decisions. So non-financial information, including some information that is not talking about number. It may talk about politicals, it may talk about environments, it may talk about some information regarding other company, like the gossip or the things that regarding other companies, not actually talking about numbers, okay? And the managerial accounting is usually, okay, normally won't share this information. Managerial accounting, whenever you're getting all this information, is only for internal use. So it's only for the CEO, the manager, the employee to know in order to make a further decision for the company. The managerial accounting, it normally won't share their information to outside compared to financial accounting. Financial accounting, you have to share your information outside because according to the government rule, you have to make sure that your information is clear and is available to auditable. Okay, so you have to share these things. So this is the major difference about financial accounting and managerial accounting. Okay. So let's keep talking about these things. So once again, two type of user, internal user and external users. So once again, if on the exam, if I asking you what type of user normally the managerial accounting will use is the external user. Okay, the internal user. I'm sorry, the internal user. Internal user are those within the organization, okay, within the company, who use the financial information to make the day-to-day decisions. They include the managers and other employees who use the financial information to confirm the past result and help make adjustment to the future activities. So this is actually very, very important. The managerial accounting right now is actually play a very crucial part, especially during the hard time, during the financial crisis part, okay, the financial crisis period. As you see, as the COVID-19 hit, okay, the United States or the whole world's economy actually decreased a lot. So the company need to make a decision. Either they should do something, either they should do something. So for example, for the restaurant, they may need to think about what will be the best way to still open and earn profit. But however, because of the social distance things, how can they use this information to still remain open and lower the risks to spread the COVID-19? So it's actually very, very important. And the external user are those who outside the organization. So if you are external user of a company, you don't work for the company. You don't work for the company, okay? And normally this including the investors. So if you want to buy a stock of a company, you still consider as investor. If you own more than 50% of the company stock, you become the owner, because if you own 51% of the stock of the company, you are the owner. You're actually the owner of the company. But however, because you did not run the company, you only own the company, you did not run the company, you still consider as external user. But however, if you own more than 51% of the stock and the company decide to hire you as the board of director, then that's another case. So again, some of my previous students, they may think about the investor, they should be including as internal user. Okay, sometimes the investor, they may only hold this company stock for only a short period and they don't work for the company. So they are normally the external users. The financial analysis, okay, the financial analysis like the accounting firm, the auditing firms, they want to make sure that your company is doing well. And no office. So if your company want to get some money from the bank will normally check your financial statement to find out how healthy you are. If I loan you the money, do you have the ability to pay back? So it's actually very important. The governmental auditor, of course, again, as I say, the government like to tax you. That's the only revenue source they can get. So they want to make sure your financial statement is correct and you pay the exact amount of the tax, like IRS agent, those kind of things. So there's two types of users. You do need to know this major difference about the internal user and external user. The internal user are the people who actually work for the organization. The external user are those outside the organization. Very, very easy to understand, okay? So this is the whole accounting system right here. The accounting system right here is, as again, we need to gather all the financial data from the operating, investing of financial activity. So you get all the data from here. Once you gathering all the data from here, you put all the data into your accounting system and present as a financial statements. And then after you present your financial statements, you have your accounting report. The financial accounting is for external users. Managerial accounting is for internal users. Okay, so this is actually very, very important. It tells you the very, very big picture of what is the accounting system. The 3 steps. You evaluating, you gathering, and then you're evaluating, you put all the financial data together, and then you presenting and you communicate this report to either the external user or the internal users. Okay? So here. So let's talk about a little bit more about financial accounting. Okay, so this is the characteristic of the financial accounting. So once again, financial accounting is all about numbers. So whenever we talk about number, we need to talk about financial statements. We're gonna spend a lot of time to go through this type of financial statement right here, these 4 types. We have the income statement, we have the statement of the owner equity, the balance sheet, and the statement of the cash flow. Most of the time, okay, if you go to check all the public trade companies, you can find their income statement and balance sheet very, very easily online. Okay, so you can go to Yahoo Finance or Bloomberg if you want to do some investment. You can very easily find the companies, the income statement and balance sheet online. Okay, and financial accounting is mostly based on the past data. So for example, if you go to see Apple's income statement, okay, for example, 1 second. Okay, so for example, okay, so if you want to see the Apple income statement, normally it just give you the number of the, go to Yahoo Finance. Okay, it normally will just give you the past of the day. So for example, it give you right now the earliest you can get is 2019. So as I mentioned, the financial accounting information, normally they will use the past data to present because we cannot correctly estimate what will be happen in the future. So financial accounting information is mostly history in nature. Okay, so if you want to see Apple's, is normally talk about what does this company do in the past. Okay, it won't give you what will be exactly happen in the future. But however, you can base on this number to make a guess, make an estimation. But however, future is very uncertain. Okay, so for example, for Apple this year, you will see Apple actually in 2019 its revenue actually decreased. So and for 2020, we're gonna see this revenue going to decrease more because of the COVID-19. But however, once again, as we mentioned, financial accounting mostly is in historic in the nature. And whenever we do a financial accounting, because we have to present this information to public, so you have to follow the rule. This is a very important rule called the General Accepted Accounting Principle. It's short for GAAP. At least you need to know what does GAAP stand for, okay? GAAP stand for Generally Accepted Accounting Principle. And this principle is only, okay, only useful or only, how to say, you have to, the company whoever do that business in American have to follow this, because the GAAP only available for the United States, but outside the United States in the world, they're using different type of accounting principle. And this GAAP is set by the Financial Accounting Standard Board, FASB. You don't need to remember the FASB, okay? But however, you do need to know what is GAAP, the GAAP. Okay. The part of accountant responsibility is once again, to get the number and then present the number. And how we're going to do these things, we need to do, we know how to get all the transaction, the financial transaction, which transaction is valuable. So virtually every activity and event occur in the business have to associate with the cost or the value that known as a transaction. We're going to spend a lot of time to talk about transactions. You're going to hear a term called journal entries, and most of the accounting students, they hate to do that, because the journal entry basically tells you everything the company do. For example, the company buys something, you have to do a journal entry. For example, if Apple buys some material, they have to debit the inventory and credit the account payable. They have to do these things, okay, step by step, in order to present that financial data to you. And the common computer accounting system is including QuickBooks. If you consider to become an accountant, okay, the QuickBooks is one of the software you have to learn, and it's actually very useful. For example, if you want to pursue as accounting as a career in the future, if you know how to use QuickBooks, most of the company, they would love to hire you, because this is a very, very good skill again. Okay, so that's for financial accounting information. So this whole slide right here, the most important thing you need to remember is right here, most historical in nature. So the financial accounting information, we're always using the past data to present the past data. So it's already happened. We already talked about a number that in the past, okay? So it's historic in the nature, okay? And then if we talk about managerial accounting in the characteristic, okay, the managerial accounting, again, we talk about these things. The managerial accounting is intended to use for the internal user. So it's used for the managers, for the CEOs, and for the employee. And it's not only require the financial information, but also the non-financial information. The non-financial information, as we talked about before, the non-financial information, you talk about political, environments, those kind of things, okay? So for example, this information nowadays, I think is more important. You need to think about the big environment. So for example, after this November, who become the new president of the United States is actually very, very crucial for most of the United States companies. They need to think about, okay, if the new president come in, what would be the new tax systems? Okay, what will be the new international trade policies? Do they still going to have the trade war happening between in China and Mexico? So they need to consider about these things a lot, and that's all managerial accounting information. And as we mentioned, managerial accounting is not available outside. So it's normally people won't share these things outside. It's not share these things to the external user, because some information that are very valuable. The company needs to using this information to make the decision. They don't want other people, especially the competitor, to know in order to make these things. So normally managerial accounting information is only shared within the company, okay? So in here, the most important thing that this slide tells you, I already shared these things before, and it's talk about long financial information and it's not shared to outside. And managerial accounting normally because they need to make a decision, so they do need to using the thing they learn from the financial accounting in order to make the decision. They need to make, okay, the estimation on the past and then make the decision whether we're going to do this or do that. So for example, you see lots of retail store actually close their store, as you see, right? Sadly, like JCPenney, like Lord and Taylor, like Bloomingdale. Oh my God, those big huge retailers all close their store. Why? Because based on their information, they think even after the pandemic, the way the people to shop will be totally different. They will treat the customer nowadays, they like to buy stuff online. So for me, I'm an Amazon Prime people. I like to buy all things on Amazon. So I even using Fresh to get my grocery done. So nowadays you will see, okay, so because of this kind of information, managerial accounting is actually very, very crucial for the company to make the future move. Okay, so the managerial accounting is always talk about how the people inside the company to using the financial information or non-financial information to make the next move. So it's always talk about future. And if you recall, for financial accounting, it's always talk about what happened in the past. And managerial accounting is always talk about how the manager to make the future move. Okay. So the next slide, summary, all the difference between financial accounting and managerial accounting. And this is very important, okay? So make sure you know what does these things, okay, tells you. It gave you all the key points. So I will test you so many times about this figure right here. This chart here is very, very important. So let's go through these things again. This table basically summary the whole thing I just say, keep saying, okay? So financial accounting for the type of users. Financial accounting is normally for the external user, and managerial accounting is normally for the internal user. And what type of report? The financial accounting is normally using the financial statements, okay? Like we talk about income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. And the managerial accounting, they're using the internal report, okay? Like the JOS cost sheet, the cost of good manufacture, and production cost report. If you are not taking the managerial accounting right now, you don't need to worry about these things, okay? This is the thing you're going to learn on your business 226, the managerial accounting class, okay? The frequency of the report for the financial accounting by the policy of the SEC and IRS. Each company, if you are public trade, or even though you are private trade, which means the people cannot buy your stock, you still need to publish your financial information quarterly and annually. So you will see the company, they will publish their income statement. Okay, so if we go back to Apple right here. So you will see they have a two type of format, annually or quarterly. So this is the quarterly. Okay, the quarterly, as you see, you will see like the first quarter is in 2020 March, and now they have the 2020 June. So as you see right now, and we have the annually. So the company need to do these things to tell you the progress of the company financial statements. Okay. However, for the managerial accounting, it's not as frequent as need. So what will be the frequency of the report is based on the board of the director, it's based on the CEO. For example, the CEO may think this month something happened, they need to do a gathering and need to do a report, then they decide to do that. So they don't have a specific time or frequency you have to do the report. And the purpose of the report is for the financial accounting is to help those external users to make decisions. So it tells you if you are not working for the companies, it tells you the investor whether you should buy the company stock, whether the bank should loan money to this company. And for the managerial accounting, it will assist the internal user to make the decision. okay, in the future decision, like planning and control decision in the future. Okay. The focus of the report for the financial accounting is pretend to you have to follow the GAAP. You have to follow the GAAP. The GAAP is the policy. You have to follow the GAAP. If you're taking a CPA exam, the GAAP have so many policies you have to remember. But however, for the managerial accounting, we don't have a special rule. You have to do these things. We don't have the GAAP constraint. But we do need to think a lot of things because we need to consider not only the financial information, but also the non-financial information. And as I mentioned, financial accounting always talk about numbers, and numbers is normally in money. Okay, money, we talk about the value of the company. And managerial accounting, because you need to think about the non-financial information, so sometimes you have some non-monetary information. And for the financial accounting, whenever the company present their financial statement online, they need to find an accounting firm to audit it, to verify the report. So for example, if Apple need to publish their income statement online, okay, for example, right here, for the past year, they need to find an accounting company to audit this financial statement. What is an accounting company and what is audit? Auditing is the financial, the accounting company, they hire some accountants to go through each detail to make sure your number is real. You did not make up this number. Okay, so before 2006, before the SEC published their rule, there's so many scandals, okay, the financial fraud. Do you guys heard about Enron? Heard about WorldCom? Those big companies, they put some big number, they make up some big number at the end of their income statement. For example, the net income may be only like 55,000 billions. They make up, sometimes they double, sometimes they quarter, you know, to make their income statement look so fancy. So the investor will buy their stocks. Once the investor buy their stocks, they can use the investor money to do something else. So it's actually very, very bad decision. So after 2006, the SEC published a law, and we're gonna talk about that law. That law actually changed the accounting system of the United States. After that, it's very important to make sure that each information you present on your financial statement is correct. So that's need verification of the report. You have to audit it by the CPA, okay? And for the managerial accounting, because it's using inside the company, so you don't actually need to audit these things. So for example, the company, they may just make a decision because the CEO or the manager, they heard some gossip. To tell you a very, very joke. Do you guys read the news that, you know, the Tesla CEO, Musk, you know that? He planning to plant a chip in your head. You know that? So if you plant a chip in your head, so your head is connected to Wi-Fi. It's pretty much like a freebie in your head. And they already do that. They already start their experiment on pig. So Tesla is already planning the chip to thousands of pigs. So the farmers, they think about this is a great news. They begin to raise more pig compared to cattle. Because they think about it, people may need more pigs to do this kind of do this kind of experiment, you know. So this is the things, you know, this is non-financial information. This is just like the things they may read from the news. They decide to do something, so it's not actually related to the numbers. So how can you audit these things? You know, because you never know these things is true or not. Basically, sometimes it may be just a gossip, or sometimes it may happen, it may not happen. So you cannot tell whether the news you got, okay, the information you got is valuable or whether this thing will happen in the future. So that's managerial accounting, okay? So this slide is very, very important. Make sure that you remember all these things right here. So I'm gonna ask you some questions. So if you answer the question correct, I will give you some extra credit. So are you guys ready to wake you guys up? Okay, so here. Make sure that you understand these kind of questions, okay? So Taylor has prepared the following list of statements about managerial accounting or financial accounting. So identify each of the statement, whether this is true or false. Okay. So A here, financial accounting centers on providing information for internal users. Yeah. Mallory?
False.
False, that's correct. Okay, so this is false. Okay, good job. False. This is financial accounting is normally for external users. Okay, and B, staff positions are directly involved in the company's primary revenue generating activity. This is a little bit hard. Whenever we talk about staff, we talk about accounting staff. Yes, Anja, you raise your hand.
I think that's true.
No, actually, it's false. Okay, so accounting people, again, the accounting people, what we do, okay, we just gathering data. We just gathering data. So this is actually the reason I put these things right here is actually very important. Okay, if we work for a company as accountant staff, we do not involve with the company's operating activity. What does that mean? So for example, if you work for Apple as accounting, you don't work for like the product development, you don't work for those kind of things. You just getting their data from the other department and then put the data together. So you don't actually generating profit. So that's the very, very important thing here is the key thing right here is revenue generating. Accounting, the company hire accountant, the accountant won't bring your profit. So this is the key thing you need to know. If you work as an accountant for the company, okay, for a company, you don't generate profit or revenue for the company, okay? You just make sure their number is correct. You don't actually generate okay, profit or revenue for the company, okay? But however, if you work for the CPA firm, then that's a whole other case. If you work for a CPA firm and you are an accountant and your CPA firm direct you to auditing for a company, then you can, of course, generate some revenue, right? Okay, so that's for B. And C, prepare of the budget is part of the financial accounting. Yeah, Emily? I see you say false. Yeah, okay, yeah. The answer is false, yes. So budget, again, once again, preparation of budget, okay, it's talk about in the future. So it's normally part of managerial accounting, okay? And D, managerial accounting apply only to merchandise and manufacture companies. Anja, yes.
That one's false.
False?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true, okay? So managerial accounting apply to all kinds of companies, okay? Merchandise company and manufacturer company, and we also have one other type of company, service type of company. We're gonna talk about this type of company in the following slides, okay? And E, both managerial accounting and financial accounting deal with many of the same economic events. I see Margaret is nodding your head, right? So you say this is yes? Yes, okay, so this is the only one that is choose, okay? So managerial accounting and financial accounting, they deal with many same economic events. For example, what happened to the financial crisis, okay? So what happened in the COVID-19 situation? Both financial accounting and managerial accounting need to deal with these kind of things, okay? Very, very easy. And right now, the following aspect of the accounting information classify each of the pertain more financial accounting or more managerial accounting. So let's go through these things one by one. The first one, the primary user are external. So this should be very easy, right? The external should be the financial accounting, okay? And including more of the non-monetary information. We talked about these things before, right? The non-monetary information is talk about non-financial information. So it should be managerial. And focus more on the future. So you need to make a plan in the future. So it's also more managerial. And it's focused, use many estimation and projections. So once again, you'll need to make an estimation. So it's more managerial because you need to process more for the future. and controlled by GAAP. So you need to follow the GAAP. So it's financial, yes. So it's financial accounting, yes. And used in managerial planning decisions. So whenever you see this kind of managerial planning, okay, you need to involve with the CEO or the managerial decision is managerial accounting, okay? And 7 is focused on the whole organization. This is a little bit tricky. Focus on the whole organization. Yeah, it's financial. Angel, yeah, you're doing good. Okay, so it's financial. Why is that? Why financial is focused on the whole organization? Yes, you may answer. Angel, you raise your hand. Can you share?
Because the financial accounting is provided a big picture for the external users, whereas the managerial accounting tends to focus on specific departments as needed.
Yeah, that's good. That's very, very good. That's actually very great answers. Okay, so for the financial accounting, you still recall they need to present their income statement and balance sheet, okay, as a whole company to outside, to the public. However, the managerial accounting, they may just need to specify on some department. For example, for Apple, they may just focus on their marketing department or focus on their research and development department. There's so many things that happen in managerial accounting. They focus on different style, different small type of things. Okay, so financial accounting is more focused on the whole company, like the big picture. And A is not considered by GAAP, is managerial. Okay, so this should be very, very easy. So as I mentioned, the table right here is very important. Okay, so you're gonna see a lot of questions like this one or like this one right here. So make sure you understand one by one. Okay, so once you know how to do these kind of questions, you are pretty much doing very good job for first chapter. This is the things I'm gonna test you for the first chapter. Okay, it's very useful. Okay. And the following part, we're gonna talk about some companies, okay, like the category of the organization. We have 3 types of category of the organization. For the profit business, this is normally we talk about companies or corporation. And as we mentioned, we have 3 types of companies. We have the manufacturer. The manufacturing company is they using the raw material to produce the product. So it's the company they actually producing something. So for example, Tesla is the company using their raw material or using their component part to producing the Tesla cars. Okay, and the retailer on the other side is they do not produce anything. They just buy the already final goods and sell them. So the retailer is like Walmart or like Best Buy or like those kind of retailer store, they go bankruptcy like Bloomingdale or Lord & Taylor, they just buy directly the product and sell the product. So that's the retail. And service company is the company they did not actually sell tangible product. They did not actually sell a product. They are selling a service. So for example, you go to a barber shop, okay? So right now it's very hard to get a barber shop. As you see, I cut my hair by myself and it looks terrible compared to my. So the service department, so the service business, they just provide a service. Okay, there's 3 types of things, and based on different type of business right here, the manufacturer, retail, and service, they will have different type of financial statements. Okay, so for example, the manufacturer, they need to talk about inventory because they have inventory. They need to buy the raw material. Sorry, my handwriting is so bad. They have the inventory, those kind of things. You need to talk about that. The service department, because they don't sell products, so they don't have inventory. So you will find out their balance sheet is totally different. Okay. And the government entity is basically talk about the government department. They need to tax you. They need to find out what's your profit of the company, and they're gonna tax you. So they need to find out, the government entity also need accounting activity to find out, okay, what will be the tax rate this year. And the government need to think about, the government will go bankruptcy too. Do you know right now, lots of countries, they actually under the risk of go bankruptcy. Okay, so for example, the European companies like Greece, they already go bankruptcy. Egypt, they already almost go bankruptcy during this hard time. So the government, they need to using the accounting information too. For example, for United States, even crucial, okay? So right now, United States actually under huge financial stress. The Fed, okay, the Federal Reserve Bank and IRS, they need to think about, okay, if the new president who will be the new president this November, they need to change their tax basically on the by the decision of the president. And if the tax change, what happened to the tax revenue? It tells you, okay, whether the government have a deficit or have a surplus. But normally for United States government, it's always deficit, which means the United States government always don't have enough money. Okay, so this is actually very crucial for the government also. They need to using these things to make a plan. And for the non-profit entity, okay, the primary of the mission is to serve political interest needs for the community. So non-profit entity normally is the hospitals or the schools like university. They're also very important too. Especially during this hard time, the pandemic is a very stressful time for the schools also. Last time I heard, VT already have around 200 COVID-19 case. My school, I graduated from Old Dominion University near Virginia Beach. That they have around 200 also. James Madison have around 700 already. It's just crazy. So once again, even the non-for-profit entity, they still need to present their income statement to tell their board, or tell their board of the trustee, and to get donation, those kind of things. So it's also very important. Okay. So here, so the automobile can be a component of both manufacturing, retail, or service organizations. So what does that mean? So for example, if you want to buy a car, of course you go to a car dealer. The car dealer is considered as a what? Retailer, right? The car dealer is considered as a retailer because the car dealer do not produce car. But if you want to buy, for example, a Mercedes, the Mercedes company is the manufacturer, right? Because they produce the car. And once you buy the car, you want to become a Uber driver, then you become the service because you provide service for the Uber taker, okay? So this is automobile can be a component for the manufacturer is the company who produce the car, and the car dealer sell the car, the taxi company using the car to provide service, so that become a service company, okay? So right now, so far you learn all three types of non-for-profit business like manufacturing, retail, and service. And now think the last of the restaurant where you ate. Of all these three types of the organization, manufacturing, retailer, and service, how would you categorize the restaurants? Do you think the restaurant is a manufacturer, retailer, or a service provider, or is all within one thing? It's been a while. For example, I didn't go out for eat for almost 6 months, I think. I really miss go out to eat. You just imagine to cook by yourself is just terrible. But anyway, so in here, the restaurant actually, as I say, is considered all parts of the things. Okay, so you consider like the manufacturer, the restaurant need to buy food. Okay, the raw material, not raw material, the raw food. Okay, and then they need to prepare the food and then sell to the customer. And at the same time, they need to have a waiter to serve you, right? To serve you, so they provide service too. So it's considered as all type of business as a restaurant. And right now, actually, most of the company they actually have all of these three type of things. So for example, I like to talk about Apple a lot. Okay, so Apple is actually have all three type of business characteristics. Apple, they produce iPhone, right? They producing iPhone, okay, and they producing iMac, all those kind of things. They also sell. You can directly buy Apple from the Apple store. They're still owned by Apple, right? They also sell, and they also provide service. What is the service you think that Apple give to you? Like, yeah, Anja?
Would that just be like when they set the phone up for you, or if they fix your phone if something goes wrong?
Yeah, that's part of it, but it's not the majority part. The majority part of the service is iTunes. Okay, iTunes. Okay, like you download something from the Apple Store, that's considered as service too. So right now, yes, Mallory, if you want to ask questions.
What about Apple TV?
Yeah, that's a great example. Apple TV is a service too. So Apple TV is actually the major thing that Apple trying to do last year. Okay, they want to competing with Amazon Prime and with Netflix. And however, they fail actually. Apple TV failed. And you know why is that? Is because there's a new thing called Disney Plus happening last year, and it's almost take all the customer share of the online streaming platform. But anyway, so service is actually one of the biggest part. It generates almost 70% of the revenue, the profit of Apple right now. So Apple, if you check right now, you cannot say Apple is a hardcore high technology firm anymore. If you talk about their, I'm sorry, I love Apple. Okay, so please do not do not hate me if I say something wrong, some bad word about Apple. Apple is not a hardcore, how to say, technology firm anymore, because right now they are more focused on service. They're trying to provide more service instead of provide more product. Okay, so Apple's most of the, if you check their income statement, okay, so for example, if you check their income statement, I don't think that they give you a very detailed income statement right now. Yeah, they did not give you a very detailed income statement as the revenue right here. But if you check their revenue, you see that most of their revenue is from service department. They call it Apple tax. You know what is Apple tax? So for the company who sell their apps on iTunes, 30% of the profit will go to Apple. So that's what they call, yeah. So that's why you see Microsoft, you know, I don't know, do you guys play game? Do you know a game called Fortnite? Yeah, Fortnite have a huge fight with Apple because Apple want to charge them 30%, you know, profit as Fortnite. So they fight each other. So you will see, you know. So that's again, that's service. Okay, so this is a little bit far away from what we going to learn today, but still, just give you a basic idea. Nowadays, the big company they have all type of business characteristics right now. Okay, and the stakeholders. I think I'm gonna to. Do we have? Yeah, we probably gonna stop here. The stakeholder refer to the person or the group who rely on the information to make decisions. So stakeholder have so many type of people in here, like stockholder, creditor, and lender, government, customer, manager, and employees. I don't think we have time to go through the very detail today. So we're going to leave these things till Friday's class. So I do hope you guys learn something. At least you now, by this morning, you can tell what will be the difference between the financial accounting and the managerial accounting. Okay, so that's the majority important part you need to know. Okay, so that'll be all for today's class. I do hope you have a very nice day. It's very sunny outside compared to Monday. So go outside to walk or something like that. And I will see you on Friday. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.